Matt Simmons. I'm one of the assistant chiefs here at Troy Fire. Glad to be with Protect and Serve today. We just want to share some information with the public, to both the residents and business owners, and explain some of the processes we do here at the Troy Fire Department. One of the functions of the fire department is to do fire safety inspections for the community. And the fire prevention office here, we staff 2 full-time inspectors, and myself also as a certified fire and safety inspector. And we just want to share with the public a little bit of our presence and what we do behind the scenes when we're not actually fighting fires or going out on EMS calls. So I'd like to share, we do go out to every public building in the city of Troy, and currently we have about 2,500 of those types of occupancies, and that includes businesses, residential apartment, the common areas, and a lot of businesses, there's suites inside those buildings, and each one is considered an occupancy. So the number's a little bit inflated as far as 2,500. But we do go into those buildings, and we're looking for general fire prevention, safety issues, and also life safety issues. To differentiate between fire prevention and life safety on an inspection is life safety, we're looking at things of the nature of if there was a power outage, some of the exit lights, make sure they're still lit, make sure there's egress lighting in case of a power outage, and then also making sure doors and the egress components of the, if you have to get out in a case of emergency, those all function properly. And some of the fire prevention things we're looking for, a lot of it is electrical. We're looking at electrical hazards. We're looking to make sure and that is not so much as we're coming in as a fire inspector to try to hawk eye and find these things. It's more to educate the business owners on general fire safety issues. With strip outlets, we explain and educate the public and the business owners on the difference between a surge protector and a GFI protected surge strip. So we're educating them on those and how to use electrical in your business and just to do it safely. We have fires, and when we have a fire, we actually in our office we investigate those fires, and then we educate that, we use that in education. When we find out the causes of these fires, we go right back out to the businesses. And we explain with them, you know, hey, we found a little fire hazard here, and this fire hazard in particular caused a fire here recently. So we do that. And when we go out, we're educating the business owners. We're not trying to find people. Since I've been here in the fire prevention, we've never had to find anybody. We work great with the public. We work great with the business owners, and the compliance is usually just they want to make their building safe for the public to enter, and that's what we do in the fire prevention. We're going out. We're looking at it with eyes of, hey, if there is a fire in this building, will the public be able to get out of this building and be safe? We're looking at the fire protection systems and code compliance, making sure the new codes, we at the City of Troy have adopted the Ohio Fire Code, and we're currently under the 2011 edition. And with that, we're just making sure that we make sure the fire alarms are being tested. Restaurants, we're making sure their cooking equipment is safe, and the fire protection systems that are in place of them are being checked by certified people. And that's what we're doing. We're going out to the public, making sure that in general the public in any building in the city of Troy, they're going to be safe if there is a fire, and also trying to make sure that we can prevent these fires, especially the fires that are preventable. So we just want to let the public know that we have a full-time office, that we're going out and doing those. And along those same lines of the larger industry businesses, we look at their fire safety plans. All of those companies have fire safety plans, and we review those plans here in our office and work with those companies on doing fire drills and making sure for their companies that if there's any questions at all, that we can help them. That's what we're here to do, is to help the public. Until next time, we want to keep the fire safe in this community, keep people safe from fire, and also prevent the fires. Thank you so much.
Hi, my name is Eric Kreitz. I'm with the Troy Fire Department. I'm one of the inspectors at the department. I'd like to talk to you a little bit today. We're coming into the winter season. It's getting a little colder outside. talk about some heating safety, and also we're coming to the holiday season. We'd also like to talk a little bit about holiday safety. First thing we'd like to get into, with the price of energy and everything else going up, most people are trying to find the cheapest, most efficient way to heat their homes in the winter. A big hit right now is either the pellet stoves or a wood-burning fireplace, or a wood-burning stove type. One thing to remember on those, it's very important to either have a consult, if you have an existing chimney, with a certified inspector for chimneys of some type, making sure that that chimney is solid, no cracks, no leaks, the liner's in good shape. If not, it may possibly need a liner, and they could help you even with that. There's a lot of do-it-yourself kits, but it's nice to get someone that knows exactly what they're looking for the safety of that. Wood-burning stoves create a material known as creosote, which is a natural byproduct of burning wood. It's not a big deal as long as once a year you get your chimney clean and get that stuff out of there. Creosote is a natural byproduct of burning wood. It's an oily tar type substance that sticks to the walls of your chimney. When you get too much buildup, spark or the heat from that fire actually ignites it, causing a chimney fire. Give you a rumbling, air sucking type sound around your fireplace. The fire itself is not the issue. It's actually breaching the chimney and getting into your structure of the house can cause a house fire. To combat that, one is to burn clean dry wood. Two, never burn anything other than clean dry wood. No flammable liquids to light the fire. A small crumpled piece of paper. The least amount of material to start the fire, the better, and the drier the wood, the better. The more wet the wood is, the more creosote it actually creates. The other thing to remember on that is the new thing now is the pellet stoves. You want to make sure that when you install these stoves in the house, you keep the air controls low so that you don't overheat your chimney. The stoves can create a tremendous amount of heat, and it's all focused on a very small area in the start of your chimney, which can actually work its way through to the walls and start a house fire. So they are very efficient ways and very money-friendly ways of heating your home. We just want you to be safe and to make sure that they're installed correctly and everything's done according to local codes and done by a professional. Next thing we would like to talk about is holiday safety. Everybody likes to decorate up for Christmas and make the house looking pretty with the garlands and the trees, and a few things to remember. Safety with a natural tree. If you prefer to go out and get a natural tree, if you buy them off the lot that's been pre-cut, make sure that the needles are soft and flexible to touch. If they're dry and brittle, the tree's been sitting too long and it's hard to get the moisture back into the branches. Trees can ignite and go extremely fast within 1 to 2 minutes and completely engulf a room. So it's very important to keep the moisture in the tree. When you do have a fresh cut tree, it's important to cut the first inch of the trunk off before you put it in the tree stand and make sure it has water at all times. Trees can use more than a gallon of water a day if it's dry in your home. No candles close to the tree, no lights that aren't UL approved, and definitely no flames or heating objects close to the tree. If you prefer to use a artificial tree, same thing. It's also important to make sure that there's no heating appliances or any open flames or candles close to that tree. Natural decor in a house, whether it's the tree or the garland around the doors, very important that at some point in time after Christmas needs to come down rather quickly. Most Christmas tree fires or fires because of garland or trees happen actually on New Year's Day or after, from people leaving them up too long. So again, they require a lot of water. They are beautiful, but we want you to be safe and keep everything moist so that we don't have that issue. The other thing is, as you strand lights around the house and everywhere else, remember that extension cords give a weak link in the electric circuit to those lights. So if you are going to run them and run extension cords, make sure you use a heavier duty outdoor style extension cord, not the smaller 3-plug, the white or the brown extension cords that they sell for plugging multiple things into it, because you can overload a circuit, and that is another reason for fires at Christmas time. But again, we want everybody to be safe and have a great holiday season and winter, and we look forward to talking to you again. Good luck and be safe. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Anthony Kendall, your county prosecutor. Welcome to the show. Today I'm going to talk to you about some differences between the juvenile court and the adult criminal court in common pleas. The juvenile court is primarily a court of rehabilitation as opposed to punishment, although they have changed the definition of juvenile court, the purpose of juvenile court lately within the last couple of years. It used to be predominantly to rehabilitate, and the legislature has since changed that, and they've made it the priorities a little bit different, and it starts with to protect the public, and secondly to make sure the punishment fits the crime, and thirdly rehabilitation, which I believe is a clear indication from the legislature that they want it to be less of a court of rehabilitation and more towards punishment. And upstairs in the adult criminal division, basically the purpose of the court is to punish, is to make the victims whole in any given particular case, and to protect the public and to rehabilitate. Now, in certain instances over the course of my career, I've had to do what they call bind over of juveniles that basically commit egregious crimes such as aggravated robbery where someone's hurt, use a gun, a firearm, a rape of a child, and just recently, if you've been following the news, aggravated murder. And I've had to do that in the past. The law as it reads now, if juvenile commits what is considered to be a Category 1 offense, such as murder, aggravated murder, or any kind of homicide, they can be bound over when they're 14 years of age. And I believe the youngest that I've ever bound over is a 15-year-old, and we ended up charging him with attempted aggravated murder for shooting a clerk at a gas station in the middle of the night. He was bound over, and he was sentenced to nearly 30 years in prison. The process to do that depends, because there is also a mandatory provision, and in that instance the juvenile in question has to be at least 16 years of age and commit what is called a Category 1 offense, which would be aggravated murder, any kind of homicide. On a discretionary bind over, it starts with us filing what is called a Rule 29, which would be Juvenile Rule 29, informing the court that is the prosecutor's intention to bind this child over, this juvenile over, and have him or her tried as an adult. That's the first step. And then the next step is to arraign the juvenile, to let them know that the state intends to try them as an adult. And then the next step will be a probable cause hearing. Probable cause is a burden of proof in the law, and in the criminal law it's the lowest burden that there is, and usually it's said to be just about 50%. The judge has to believe a little bit above 50% that this person probably engaged in the conduct that he or she is accused of. And once we clear that hurdle and discretionary bind over, there's what is called an amenability hearing. The juvenile is sent to a forensic psychologist who performs a variety of tests on the juvenile and authors a report. And the purpose of the report is to determine by the expert as to whether or not the juvenile is amenable to any treatment that is available in the juvenile justice system. In the event that the psychologist concludes that the child is no longer amenable to anything that's available to him or her in the juvenile court, and that it basically means it's that expert's opinion that they will not respond and it will not change that individual's behavior. And then it's bound over to the adult court. It's then presented to the grand jury, typically indicted, and then from then on out they're treated as an adult. A mandatory bind over, we don't have the amenability hearing portion of it where a psychologist reviews and presents this report to the court. The only step in that is to have a probable cause hearing before the juvenile court, And a mandatory bind over, again, they have to be 16 years of age and a Category 1 offense, which is any type of homicide in particular. The probable cause hearing is held, and again, it's that lower standard. And once that's met, they are immediately bound over to the adult court, and we present it to grand jury, and then it's assigned to one of our police judges in the adult division, criminal division, and it runs through the regular process. The first step upstairs would be a arraignment to inform the individual of the charges pending against him or her and the possible penalties. And then it's set for a pretrial with that individual's attorney, and if we can't come to some kind of conclusion, and basically on these kinds of cases there are no plea bargains, and if they don't plead, we go to trial. And after trial, they're sentenced as an adult. And 20 years ago, when I was juvenile prosecutor, I bound over many juveniles, and only one out of 30-some probably did not go to prison, and that was from a visiting judge. So generally, around here in Miami County, if a juvenile's out and they're committing serious offenses, we're going to treat them like an adult, and we're going to see that they're punished accordingly. And that's just the way we do it around here, because we're not going to have that kind of behavior going on. It's been my pleasure to spend this time with you. I hope it's been informative. Have a nice day.
Okay, my name is Lieutenant Dave Norman. I'm with the Miami County Sheriff's Office, and I'm currently the jail administrator for both the jails for the Miami County, or for the sheriff. Back in about December of 2009, the sheriff his budget was cut for the next year. In 2010, his budget was reduced due to some financial issues, I guess, with the county. So with that being the case, the sheriff was cut about $3.5 million from his budget, and the sheriff was forced to make some changes within the sheriff's department. By law, the sheriff has a responsibility to maintain a jail by the Ohio Revised Code. So the sheriff had 2 jails available to him, and it was decided that since we were being cut by about $3.5 million, that we'd still be able to maintain a jail within Miami County. To do that, though, we'd have to close the incarceration facility, which is the jail that's on County Road 25A out by the Juvenile Detention Center. Whenever it was determined that through the budget cuts that were going on, we had to close this jail, we pretty much moved everybody that we could from here to the downtown jail, and made the downtown jail our prime focus, our primary point of incarceration for all inmates. The downtown jail has about 111 beds, hard beds that are in place. The incarceration facility here on 25A has 240 beds available to us. So we really had a combined ability to hold about 300 people at one point. Once we closed the incarceration facility here on 25A, we went down to where we only hold about that 111 inmates. Just recently, though, we've been informed that the maximum jail population for the downtown jail is really only 43. So with the population of 43, that's not really enough for what Miami County's needs are at this point. So with that being the case, we were able to work with the commissioners, the sheriff was, and to be able to get the incarceration facility reopened. And we've done a lot of remodeling out here, a lot of work, because during the 3 years that the incarceration facility was sitting here, it's like any building, without having people here when going around working in it, we had some deterioration issues. So we were able to repair the deterioration issues that we had, and get it back to a level where we'd be able to hold inmates. Through this process, we've had to do some hiring to be able to get back to where we'll be able to staff 2 to 3 pods out here, plus staff the downtown jail. We currently have hired 39 corrections officers, new corrections. We have a total of 39 correction officers right now. I still need to hire about 7 more so we can get to where we need to be. We're in the process of doing some more interviews, which potentially can give us some new COs by the middle of October. We should have everybody hired that we need to have hired. And then we'll start a new corrections officer academy in October, about the middle of October. Once we get to the point that we have the people hired that we need, what we'll do is we'll staff 2 to 3 pods out here at the incarceration facility with inmates. We'll have a female pod, potentially have a female pod and 2 male pods. And then downtown we'll go down to where we have about 30 inmates downtown. The reason we're going to 30 is we still need to have the 10 or so beds available to us for the people that come in and out that are arrested on the weekends or arrested overnight, then they go to court the next day and potentially they get out. So we'll go down to about 30 inmates downtown. Those 30 inmates will be all male inmates, and they will be our serious offenders who will be downtown. Everybody else will be brought out here to the incarceration facility and be housed out here. Right now the cooking that's being done for all the inmates is done downtown, and once we open up 1 or 2 more pods out here at the incarceration facility, we'll move the kitchen facilities down here and they'll cook out of here versus cooking out of downtown. The kitchen here is a much bigger kitchen than what they have downtown. It'll be a lot better for our kitchen workers to be able to operate out of and provide better food service for the inmates. Currently, we have, as of today, which is Monday the 9th of September, we have 127 inmates that we had incarcerated this morning. We had about 90 out at the downtown jail, and we had 36 down here, 36 or 37, so 126, 127 inmates is what we currently were holding right now. Court goes every day for us except for Saturdays, and we do get people that if they come in during the night or on the weekend, they're able to get out the next day, depending on what the court, what the requirements are with the courts anyway. So I think we had about 8 people get out today, and we moved some of the inmates from downtown out to here to kind of lower the population downtown to keep that population a little bit lower, and by keeping the population up out here, we want to try and average between 40 and 45 inmates at the incarceration facility, and we want to try and maintain about 80 downtown at the downtown jail. With that being said, we got to understand that with that 80, really we should only have 43, so really we're above where we need to be by the state standards. And state standards, what that means is within the state of Ohio, every inmate is allowed 35 square feet per person. Back in 2006, 2007, the state jail inspectors came in and they measured the downtown jail, and based off their measurements, that's where they come up with the total number of population the downtown jail should hold of being 43 to meet that requirement of every inmate having that 35 square feet. So with that, that's why we're going down to about 30 inmates downtown, plus that 13-bed transitional bed area where the inmates will have room for people to come in and out. One thing I wanted to let everybody know, the difference between the 2 jails, because a lot of people don't understand the difference of 2 jails. The downtown jail is what we call linear style jail, which means it has the bars and the sliding doors and the banging and the doors closing and things like that. And we can actually lock them down in smaller individual units of 4 to 2 people locked down inside their bunk area or their bedding area. Out here at the incarceration facility, this is a modular style jail, which means that we have open pods with just big, huge open rooms. Almost looks like a big gym room, gymnasium. And inside there we have 30 bunk beds. We have tables there that they can eat at. We have showers inside there. Everything that they need anyway. All the creature comforts are taken care of with inside there. A couple TVs in there for them to be able to watch the news and different things. So that's what the difference is between the 2. And with having the modular style out here, we can hold more people out here versus what we can hold downtown because of the fact that we get a bigger open area, and they're getting that 35 square feet that we had talked about earlier that each inmate is supposed to have according to state standards. So there is a difference between the 2. One thing also with having the incarceration facility open and running, we're looking at reinstituting or starting back our life skills program that we had out here. Before the jail was closed, we had a life skills program, and the life skills program is something that was designed to help reduce recidivism rate amongst the inmates, so that hopefully if they use the tools that they learn and they get from the life skills program, it helps them not to come back to jail. I mean, we're always open 24/7, 365. We got the light on, but I mean, we want them to be productive citizens within the county, pay their taxes, and do those things also. So if we can give them some tools to help that they can help themselves down the road, we try to do that. some of the things that they get through the life skills program, or they get, if they don't have their GED or high school diploma, they'll work on obtaining that GED. They have parenting classes they go through. They have some anger rage classes they go through. Drug and alcohol counseling. We're looking at trying to get them into, or get into where they can, before they leave here, they can have a job resume already prepared for them. So when they leave here, they have something in hand that they can take and go out to try and find employers. So we're going to try and do something with job and family, possibly with them, to work at trying to get these guys the ability that once they leave here, they can go try to get into the job market. Because that seems to be a lot of the problems is once they leave here, it's hard for them to get back in the job market. A lot of them don't know how to get into it. So we want to have some classes on how to find jobs, how to prepare for a job, what to wear to the job interview, how do you interview. You know, maybe try and get hooked up with job and family so they can let us know, or let them know anyway, what jobs may be available for them once they leave here. So it's going to be a total package, and we even put in a little physical fitness program in there to help them get up and get moving, and just change their lifestyle a little bit, because if they don't, I've talked to a lot of these inmates before, and it's all about choices. They can make choices to come back to jail, or they can make choices to stay out of jail. Sometimes they just don't, that choice is hard for them to do because they just can't get that job to help them stay out of jail. So hopefully with our life skills program, we'll take care of that problem, or at least help them anyway, to give them some tools that they can get out and try to get in the job market, and maybe not come back again. So that's what we're looking at here at the Miami County Jail. I'm glad you all were able to come out and take a look at it, and have a good day.